Now, Nia Long had an interview some years ago, and she talked about how when she was in high school, she dated a 30-year-old man. Now, I want y'all to understand something. I would never see myself dating a woman who is of age at 18 or 19 or 20. That's not my thing. I know some of you guys can't wait till these chicks turn 18. I'm not one of those guys. Okay? It's good poetry. Make sure y'all like the stream. I'm not one of those guys that looks forward to dating a girl who is 18, 19, 20, but we're not talking about that. She's talking about when she was like 16, maybe even 15, who knows? But I'm not one of those guys that goes after young girls. I'm just not. They're young girls to me. That's how it's always been with me. Don't mean that maybe one day I'll come across a woman that's like 20, 21, and she just really surprises me. It can always happen. Never say never. But I've never been the type to be like, yeah, she 18, she legal. I'm not one of those type of guys. I've never been that type. I'm not waiting for these girls to turn 18, to start, get with. I've never been that type of guy. But I know some of you guys are, not y'all here, because my audience is intelligent, but some of these other guys are basically waiting for that right after graduation or the prom when the girls turn 18. They can't wait. Or maybe they already there. You know what I'm saying? We all know that there have been girls over the years, high school, even middle school. I know of a girl that was in middle school that was dating a guy that was like damn near in his 40s. This stuff happens. People. And I think it's more normal than y'all want to believe, but you got to understand, I saw something today on Twitter where you had a bunch of heifers talking about Marcus Houston, the singer Marcus Houston and his wife, right? And how, he got married to her when she was like 19. And I'm saying to myself, but y'all used to date grown men when you were like 15 or 16. And that was the hypocrisy. Now, again, I'm not one of those guys that will date teenagers. I'm not the type of guy. Okay, I don't care if she's adult or not. That ain't my thing. Okay? But for the fact that what Marcus Houston did, I don't know when he started dating that girl. So I'm not going to sit here and judge nobody. But the people who judge the most with these type of relationships are women who are actively in these relationships dating older men. Yeah, these girls are getting groomed. They're getting groomed. And, Nia speaks so glowingly about this. She speaks so glowingly about this. I remember that Black American Expo. I remember that. The 60-year-old pastor, dating an 18-year-old girl. I mean, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. But the fact that these same women, like a Nia Long, who've dated older men when they were teenagers, they want to criticize a Leonardo DiCaprio who's dating women in their early 20s. I think he's now dating a 19-year-old, right? But a lot of the women who are criticizing used to be that girl that would date older men. That's where the hypocrisy comes from. And that's what I don't like about these people, is how hypocritical they are. They were that girl in high school who dated older men, but because they're no longer that girl and they've gotten older and those type of men don't want them anymore, now all of a sudden they are against younger women and older men dating. Now they want to speak out and call people predators, right? But you used to be that same girl, not running behind these dudes. This according to Madame Noir. It says an old clip of Nia Long has the internet talking up a storm. During a candid sit down with the Screen Actors Guild in 2016, Long proudly admitted that she used to date someone twice her age in high school, 30 years old to be exact. In an interview which surfaced this week, Long confessed she never went to her high school prom because of the big age difference between her and her former guy. Yeah, probably because he be trying to hit on the other girls. Knowing this guy. Listen, man, I wasn't the girl that ever went to prom. Like she said, her boyfriend was 30 when she was in high school, and chuckling the viral clip, which was reposted by the neighborhood talk.
If she was my niece's age or younger, hands off.
Appreciate that swing out. Right. Surprisingly, she also admitted that her mother approved of the relationship, so her mother was okay with it. She said, my mother was crazy. I mean that in a good way. She was an artist. She was like, well, if it's who you love, baby. So she said her mother was an artist, which means that her mother was probably liberal. You got to watch out for these liberal women. Liberal women are destroying this country. They're teaching their children to be as weird as possible. I walked in a few times on my high school coach with the younger women. Wow. Just brazen, right? Wow. Supposed to play the video. This is not going to play the video. Here's the kicker. Long went on to describe that her older boyfriend as a good and kind individual. According to the Star, her former boo, who was a native of Oman, asked her permission to date her back in the day. So he went to her and was like, I love your daughter and I want to date her. I want to date your daughter. Former Fresh Prince star added with a big smile. Well, after the clip went viral on social media, folks lit up Twitter and Instagram with a ton of commentary about Long's underage romance. Unfortunately, that was the norm then, commented TV personality Kaya Cole. I was getting hit on all the time by guys that were damn near 30 when I was in my late teens, and some were in the industry. One person wrote, 30-year-old man dating a high schooler, Nia Long's mom failed there. Another person said, I always thought Nia Long was so beautiful, and I still do, but we don't justify nor endorse a 30-year-old men being with teenagers. If it's not right, male or female, a 30-year-old is good and grown, do better.
Went to prom. Like, my boyfriend was 30 when I was in high school. I know my mother was crazy, but you know what? I would never ever let I mean that in a good way. Like, she was an artist. She was like, well, if that's who you love, babe.
She said her mother was an artist, which equals liberal. Watch out for these liberal women, man.
Baby. And he was so good to me and kind and like, right? And he did it the right way. He went to her. He was from Oman. He went to her and he said, I love your daughter and I want to date your daughter. And he asked permission. Look at your face. You're like, that ain't happening with my baby.
Right, because she's not, I don't want to talk down on her mother, but she's not your mother. Like, she's not that liberal where she's going to let her daughter date this man. Like, any critically thinking woman is going to be outraged at this. Man, and fathers too. See, this is why it's very important to have a father. You see, this man went to her mother and he was able to charm her mother into agreeing to let him date Nia. Because see, if I don't know where her father is, but if he would have went to the father, her father wouldn't have let that happen. He's like, man, if you don't get your grown ass out of here. I bet that guy somewhere is speaking against the passport bros. You know, it be the guys like that talk the most shit about passport bros. Y'all do know that, right? These older simps, these Gen Xer, early baby boom or late baby boomers, they be the main
These
ones
women
talking
down
crap.
bad from Erykah Badu doing that weird pose with her daughter to now Nia's mom approving her dating an older man.
Right. Appreciate that, Devon. I bet you that dude somewhere talking about the passport bros and how they can't handle black women here. Like, dude, you dated a teenager. Shut up. The way Nia Long said her boyfriend was 30 when she was in high school and everything, side-eyed her and not the man in question. LOL, the jokes write themselves. And that was in 2016. 2016. This is why fathers are very important. You see, when these women push the fathers out of their children's lives, this is what they raise. They raise children that are going to be that are going to be in these situations. That man, if the father was around, that man would have never went to that route, because a father wouldn't have allowed his daughter to be dating no grown ass 30-year-old man. He would have been like, man, if you don't get out of my face, what are you talking about? She ain't even out of high school. What you mean? This white football coach, when I was going to a private Catholic school in Louisiana, knocked up this fresh off the boat Asian girl and kept his job. Wow. That's because, he was the football coach, and they probably felt like they can sweep it under the rug. A lot of these situations got swept under the rug, but social media exposes it. Social media exposes these things. These things get exposed by social media, and that's what happened in this situation. And now look at Nia Long, man. Look where she's at. She's out here trying to make people believe that she's dating Omarion. She's going on these vacations with the Terrence J guy. Like, she's really out here in these streets. Do we blame Ime Udoka? Is Ime Udoka? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just crazy.